What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Sam Talks Nerdy. Everybody happy, doing well, just dominating life, crushing it. I saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem over the weekend, and I can gladly say I had a really fun time watching the movie. It was honestly just a fun watch. But with that said, there are a few things I do have a gripe with, and I will discuss those in this review. If you listen to my past reviews on my podcast, or maybe some of my newer reviews on my YouTube channel, then you should know how this works. I'll go into the positives, and then I'll go into my neutrals, things I'm kind of meh on, and then I'll go into the negatives. So without further delay, let's get into the positives. So positives. For one, the voice acting. It was superb. The Turtles were a major standout for me because I love the chemistry the voice actors had, and it was really cool that they got actual teens to voice the Ninja Turtles. In every past incarnation, it's always been adults trying to play teenagers. And while I will always be accustomed to hearing adults as the Ninja Turtles, the O3 cast being my favorite, I also do welcome this change with open arms because it's also kind of cool because we can see these turtles actually grow up throughout the rest of the film. Ice Cube was also very entertaining as Superfly. He was really fun and entertaining to watch. In fact, I greatly enjoyed Superfly in this movie. When it was revealed that Superfly was going to be the sort of main villain of Mutant Mayhem, I was like, really? Superfly? Because I mean, think about it, out of 4 of the, 6 live-action turtle films in total, the Shredder has always been the villain, either as the main villain or he had some sort of presence. So I was really surprised that, he wasn't going to be the villain of the first film, and we got someone like Superfly, who, yes, is sort of a iconic turtle villain, but to me, in my mind, he's kind of maybe in the high B, low B tier. But with that said, Superfly was awesome. He was extremely intimidating. He beat a guy to, He beat a guy to near death. He killed henchmen that worked for him just to cover his tracks. They managed to make Superfly just a actual literal threat. A lot of the other main characters were really fun as well. Mono Gecko was definitely one of my favorites. Paul Rudd was honestly really funny to hear as that character. Wingnut, I thought she was cool. Ray Fillet, I love the running gag where he's singing terribly and Superfly is like, "Hey man, shut up." He's like, okay, sorry. I mean, it's funny because they got someone like Post Malone, who's a really good singer, and I love that. I love that whole entire gag. I also like Bebop and Rocksteady because I just loved John Cena and Seth Rogen's chemistry, and I really hope we see them again in either in the spinoff show or in the sequel. Who knows? The action was really solid as well, though in my mind, we didn't really get a lot of action for a Turtle movie. I feel like we got a lot more action scenes in the past Turtle films, but for what we did get was really, really good. I love that one fight sequence to where they're all fighting in different locations. It's kind of like a montage where it's we go to Leonardo, then we cut to Michelangelo, then we cut to Donatello, then we cut to Raphael. They're looking for leads on Superfly. And one detail I really liked about Splinter was that he fought very similar to Jackie Chan with using kids' environment and using a bit of slapstick. That was a really fun detail to where I'm watching this and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Music was really bopping. I love the soundtrack in this movie. I also liked all the little Easter eggs we got throughout the movie. We got some Easter eggs or some references to Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman, who are the creators of Ninja Turtles. We even got the ninja rap from Secret of the Ooze, go Ninja, go! Which, I nearly cheered because, I'm sorry, that song is iconic. The art style felt very fitting for the Ninja Turtles. It just felt grungy, punkish, edgy. So I liked it, but actually, this does lead into a neutral, but I will get into that here shortly. My last positive definitely has to go to the whole message and moral thing about acceptance, because I won't lie, how they handled it really shook me and honestly kind of blew my mind. It was really cool seeing these sort of comparison and contrast between how both Splinter and Superfly both handle their feelings and emotions about the human world. But Splinter, he's all, oh no, humans are terrible, they're evil, they're gonna kill you, dissect you, we're gonna stay in the sewers and be happy. But with Superfly, he's like, I'm gonna commit genocide. But both of their feelings, Splinter's feelings more than Superfly's feelings, do make sense because, they're both animals or creatures that people willingly don't like and want to kill. So I don't blame them that they feel maybe a bit negative towards humans. And honestly, that got me the feels. Now let's get on to my neutrals. While I did say I liked the art style, there was one part of it that kind of it threw me a little bit. It was how a lot of the background human characters were drawn. Just their proportions were very distorted, very just they weren't right. One eye was lower than the other. One head, one cheek was caved in, while the other was more puffed out. And my brother actually had a really cool theory about how maybe this was a art decision to kind of single out the humans that are prejudiced, that are mean, that are it brings out the ugliness from inside outside, if that makes sense. And I mean, it makes sense, but I am really curious if that was what they were going for when they were deciding all of the human background characters. My next neutral is April. I mean, actress did an amazing job playing her, and I'm not upset about her being a person of color. It's just, I miss adult April. Can we have a adult April that's either working at TCRI or is a reporter? Just, I don't know. We've had a teenage April for the past, well, no, we had Megan Fox in the two Michael Bay films. She was an adult and a reporter. And then we had the two teenage Aprils in the 2012 series and in Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But anyway, it's can we please stick to an adult April? I also didn't really care about the plot detail of Leo having a crush on April. I mean, usually one turtle does at the beginning, usually it being Michelangelo or Donatello, but I never liked that idea of a turtle having a crush on April. I am April and Casey all the way till the very end. They're up there with Batman and Catwoman, Peter Parker, Mary Jane, so on and so forth. I also didn't really care for the new origin. I am very traditional. I like the origin where Splinter is a human who knew martial arts, turned into a rat, found the turtles, and thus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But the fact that they learned from a book to learn self-defense just doesn't really resonate with me. No, I mean, the reason why Splinter trains the turtles to do martial arts in the past was because he knew that the Shredder was going to come for them and he wanted them to be ready to defend themselves. And for my last neutral is definitely the ending is going to take some getting used to, because the turtles are now going to high school. Let that sink in. Ever since the Turtles were introduced, yes, they were teenagers, but there was never a whole thing of them wanting to go to high school, to be in high school, them going to high school while being Ninja Turtles. That was never a concept in any of the past iterations. Yes, there were some movies that kind of discussed the whole idea of the Turtles wanting to be up with the humans, but never anything about going to high school. So this new approach, this new idea is certainly something that will take getting used to, but it is something that I am willing to see out. Same goes for a lot of the villains in the movie that turn good, like Bebop and Rocksteady, because in every past iteration, they are always bad guys, either on their own or working for the Shredder. So the fact that they are good guys living with the Turtles is also very interesting to me. Now for my negatives, and there aren't really a lot. For one, not enough Baxter Stockman. You have a powerhouse that is Giancarlo Esposito, and you just give him 5 minutes of screen time, and that is such a waste for that caliber of an actor. Hopefully we will see him again in maybe a future movie or in the spin-off series, but yeah, I'm sorry, that was such a waste of his talent. Also, some of the jokes did not land with me whatsoever, especially the millennial jokes. Those made me cringe really hard. I mean, I get why they had them for the millennial crowd, but when I heard them, when I saw them, I was just kind of like, oh my god, why? This is so awkward. But with all this said, I still had a blast with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, and I'm going to have to give it a solid 9 out of 10. It's a fun ride for a casual moviegoer, or it's a good movie for a turtle fan of every caliber, from the people who are wanting to get into the Ninja Turtles to the massive diehard fans. The end credits also has me very excited for the sequel and the spin-off series, because it's going to be very interesting to see how everything all pans out. Anyways, that'll be it for this week's episode of Sam Talks Nerdy. Thank you for watching or listening. If you're listening to this via my podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or Spotify, please follow my podcast. Leave me a 5-star rating, a good review where you can. And also tell me, what were your thoughts on Mutant Mayhem? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you kind of meh on it? Let me know. And until next time, stay well, stay healthy. Don't touch mutagen. Don't get into a mutant gang. And I will see you or talk to you next time. Peace out.